Wait, who's your favorite G.I. Joe?
I hate G.I. Joe.
You fucking bitch. All right, guys, here we're going to talk about the movie G.I. Joe the Movie. 1987's G.I. Joe the Movie, a staple you have to have seen.
Definitely, God, yes. This is one of my favorite animes from the 80s is G.I. Joe the Movie. Right up there with Transformers and several other animated features that were a little darker, a little grittier, and a little better, or a lot better than the shows that they were around.
Yeah, this was like the cap on the G.I. Joe show, because like
Was
G.I.
it?
Joe show like ended, I think in '86, and then this came out, and I was like, oh my God.
I heard it was delayed, and I was trying to research that to be like, is this the bridge between season 1 and 2? Is season 2 just wild?
I could be wrong, but I think it's the cap.
I couldn't find it conclusively, which pissed me off. I'm sure I it's there. I was just trying to be like, I was on like Joepedia, like Wikipedia.
Is there a Joepedia?
There's like a fandom wiki for everything, but I was trying to find like, first appearance of Globulus, trying to be like, what is this? What's happening? And yes, it was very confusing. There's a lot of G.I. Joe stuff. Not quite as much as Transformers, but still more than I thought. So whatever.
Transformers, I think, was your thing. This was mine as a kid.
Oh.
I loved this movie. I wore this VHS out.
Damn,
It may have been my most popular cartoon movie as a kid. Regular movie, Ninja Turtles, obviously. But this movie, just from that jump, that theme song, gets you.
Oh no, okay. We'll have lots to talk about.
We certainly will.
This will be exciting.
So obviously this is a thumbs up from everyone who's ever seen the movie.
Yes.
So if you haven't seen this movie or don't care, false over to spoilers, and if not, pull out now.
If you need a place to rent content, you better listen. We're Cannibal Video and we eat the competition.
All right, guys, here we are for the spoilers of G.I. Joe the Movie. Let me hear them spoiler-filled thoughts.
I didn't know you loved this movie. I do want to compare it to Transformers, but I also want to talk about...
There are a lot of comparisons.
It's the same fucking movie.
With one big difference, because it had the advantage of coming out second.
Yes, but that's like a joke of a difference, which we'll get to. So like G.I. Joe, did you watch the show G.I. Joe?
Yeah, but not like religiously.
Okay.
I watched the movie way more than I ever watched the TV show.
Yeah. Well, like I think that's the same for me with Transformers and both shows. But I have vague. So like I was gonna say, like, hopefully you're an expert, so you can correct me if I'm talking out of my ass here. But I have vague memories because I don't like war and like people.
Okay.
I've said this many times.
I like robots and war.
No, like, yes, literally, like robots, dragons, vampires, magic, superheroes. Like, it has to be something.
I like those things too, except for the robots.
I'm just saying, like, how I approach everything. So there's an extra hurdle in between me and a show that isn't about anything that I, as a kid, would have called interesting or something, right?
The movie, though, breaks that for you.
I know.
It has that factor.
Which is wild, and that's why I loved this movie. Because I think prior to this, I'd seen like commercials and like the intro to this movie, which we'll talk about directly next, like showcases this too. There's like jetpacks and they're shooting laser guns and there's awesome stuff. So I was like, oh, maybe I will like this. And I think I tried to watch it and I'm like, this is boring and lame. This is just dudes like slapping each other on the ass and driving tanks around. I hate this.
There is no ass slapping, Lee.
Maybe I added that metaphorically, but yeah, I didn't like the vibe to begin with of like U.S. military, awesome or whatever. And now I'm even farther away from any of that, so I don't have any of that going on or whatever. But yes, like so when the movie came out, it was this watershed crazy thing of like it imagines a world where everything's cool though, but it's G.I. Joe. Was like my perspective on it.
Well, yes, G.I. Joe definitely is a bit watered down because it was like there would be little ads at the end. Like, and remember, kids, you don't want to cross the street.
A candy bar might give you a quick boost of energy, but after 20 minutes, you'll feel run down. So let's eat smart.
I saw those too, where it was like, don't do graffiti, stop bullying. Yeah. And then I might have gotten unlucky and just watched a few of like the less quote unquote interesting episodes where they're just like, we gotta go to the place and do the thing.
This is the most interesting thing G.I. Joe ever did. Okay. And that goes into the future, that's CG things, that's the Rock movie, the Channing Tatum.
To this day. Okay.
This is one of the best cartoon movies ever made.
Do you?
I don't even mean just in G.I. Joe. Yeah. I mean like period. If they took this exact movie and did a shot-for-shot live-action remake, it would win every award. World peace would happen.
Oh, it'd be great.
People would just rejoice. We would all sing Kumbaya in English.
Do you think that fans of G.I. Joe, because I tried to find this too, but there was no Twitter in 1987, so like you can't see like the real stuff. But I'm like, do you think fans of G.I. Joe saw this and said, "What is all this goofy like other stuff?"
I think we were so blown away at the moment that it was like it didn't like there was no mattering at all. But and this was big at the time too. There was you know, sci-fi shit has been popular for quite a while.
But if you like a show that I think doesn't have any weird alien goop in it, and then you see a movie that suddenly not only does it have alien goop, but it imagines a world where that's secretly been the thing all along, and it was the origin of all this stuff.
I implanted the idea and the skill in Dr. Mindbender's rather pedestrian brain with this, a psychic motivator.
Yeah. I think if you liked G.I. Joe for certain reasons, you'd be like betrayed. Like, no, this was my thing. It was just cool, and now it sucks. Right?
I don't know. For me, it was dope as fuck, and it always will be.
No, because you like everything except things I like. So like,
I love the characters introduced in this movie. Usually, I'm like, oh, you're making up these new characters for the sake of like exposition. Sucks. In this, it's everything you ever wanted. Like that like, and like in two ways. So like you have Sergeant Slaughter and his like renegades.
My name is Sergeant Slaughter, special drill instructor for G.I. Joe.
Who are like, they're awesome. You got like the ex-fucking Cobra guy who's like, you got like the Indian dude.
Who's like a JoJo's great fan.
The Indian guy who's like biting his fucking club. He's like a crazy person.
I remembered him biting that for years. I'm like, what is happening?
It's worth remembering. And then you have that like fucking circus guy with his scimitar and shit. I'm like,
I shaved a circus bear, and this is this guy.
So like, and this, I'm young enough here that I'm an idiot. So like, I see this and I go, I know Sergeant Slaughter's a real guy. I've seen him on TV.
What'd you make that pizza with?
Anchovies, grapes, and cheese whiz.
I don't like that thumping sound.
Boy, I wish Mario was around.
This is a cartoon of their exploits. This is a real thing. Oh my God.
This is the extended Sergeant Slaughter universe.
Sergeant Slaughter in this movie, amazing.
You also like Sergeant Slaughter.
I love Sergeant Slaughter.
Think he needs any help?
Let ask you questions.
Show the picture.
I got a great picture of him putting me in the Cobra clutch.
Yes.
And he was in his like 60s then, and I could not have escaped if I wanted to. If he wanted me dead, I would have died. He's a large man.
Okay.
But in this, like this is the epitome of a hero. This is what one man, one American can do. He has no special powers. He takes on the fucking galactic dude, like Nemesis Enforcer, who has up to this moment proven he can do fucking anything.
When I juice those buckets, they're gonna scrape you off the walls with a squeegee.
Stop.
He cuts shit. He's got shoulder blades that extend and can fly. He's like, I want one more crack at the bat.
Big sleaze bat belongs to me.
Like, he's fucking the man.
I want one more crack. I just picture Jesse Ventura though instead of him, because they like, I don't like wrestling. I never liked any of that stuff. I love that he's doing wrestling moves to Nemesis and Forza.
Yes.
And this is for my mom. And this is for Falcon. And he's like he's like elbow dropping him and stuff. Yes,
this is for the US of A.
Yeah,
finishes it fucking as well.
That's always made me cringe though. I've always been like, yuck, what are we doing?
That's the epitome. That might have been the first time as a child that I went, get him! Woo!
Yeah, no, like I like it for its irony, and I like the idea that like the good guys can beat Nemesis Enforcer with just like their force of will or something.
Fucking awesome.
Yeah, whatever. Yes, but like every time they say "Go Joe," I'm like, ugh, like I'm just ugh.
No.
Yeah.
You as an audience member are saying it along with them.
You're also yelling "Go Joe."
Yeah, you might have watched it wrong. Yes. That's how I watch it.
Yo, Joe.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't vibe with that whole thing. It makes me cringe too much.
I'm an old man, and I'll still say, "Oh, Joe," when like cool shit's happening. Oh man!
But like,
off. So as I was diverged onto a Sergeant Slaughter tangent. So like you have his crew,
new characters,
and then you have the literal trainee characters who are also awesome.
Your chin is down. Your chest out. Your gut in.
Okay, I thought they were awesome too, but watching it now, I was like laughing my ass off, because it's like, it's a black guy wearing a basketball jersey and doing his own like announcer voice.
Takes out the defense and lays down the long bomb.
Oh, and it's an Asian chick who's wearing like the black dragon like ninja outfit. It's like very funny and stereotypical. Yes. And like there's some like Hawaii 5-0 guy that throws that throw. So like, okay, I was like reading up on it like a little bit, and someone said, "Yeah, Chuckles has no dialogue. It was cut." And I was like, "Chuckles? Like, what are you talking about?" And then to like watch, you're like, "Oh, he's the guy who rides on the outside of the helicopter. That's hilarious." Yeah, I used to love that character.
On his action figure, it says like he's a wise talking blah blah blah, and like all his dialogue is cut.
Yeah, he has one line.
He's Lenny
nothing.
Essentially. He's just this like like kind of slow dude, doesn't talk, like crazy strong. He kills a fucking vehicle by throwing a missile at it.
Throws it by hand, and it says misfire or like error or something. But rather than explain to like his drill and sergeant guy that like there's a problem,
Beachhead.
I know his name. I'm just trying to
The people at home need to know.
All right. If I just said Beachhead, you'd be like, what is he talking about? Yes, the guy's yelling at him like, fire, do the thing, and he's like,
Chuckles, wake up! You gotta get hit before it gets you!
But then he goes in, rather than explain, I'm having a problem that we should reset this, he just says, I'll solve the problem myself. Yes. And just does it by hand, and he's like, next time use the rocket launcher. Beachhead he eats shit so constantly during this whole montage, and I really loved that.
Yeah, I love the voice actor that plays him. I don't know who that is, but he like sells it, he nails it. I think it's so good.
He's usually quite obedient. I hope you both get fleas.
How did you feel about the bananas line? Do you think that that's a little something?
Meaning what?
Meaning the black guy just like won despite his best efforts to literally murder him, and then he says something about the crowd goes bananas, and he goes, it's not the only thing going bananas.
And the crowd goes bananas! The crowd ain't the only thing that's going bananas.
When the one black guy...
Oh, I didn't take it as a racist thing.
Oh, bananas are pretty something.
I thought it just meant that because he's going crazy because everyone's doing his events, but not necessarily as he wants them to do it. Like, and just the fact that they're getting there.
I thought it was funny.
Well,
like, go, what?
Like Sewer Rat leaves the course and comes back in and just like shoots.
It had a gun all along.
Yeah.
I was like, what's happening?
And it's like just him in general, just like the way he's doing it. Like he is a crazy person. I think his name is Low Blow. He's just going through the course, and yes, he's an announcer. He's doing his thing. Like I think
I have a vivid memory of that. Will it go in? When it's like teetering on the edge.
It's looking good. Rim shot. Will it drop in? Yes!
Of like the automated gun turret that murders you. Yes.
When they both complete it and they punch the bell, you're like, they're punching the bell.
Big loud score.
Yeah. That's a bell.
and then he like jumps on him, and it's very anime.
Oh,
I love around. It's great. Yeah.
I love that. The celebration of success. The only thing I really hate about their whole training montage is Jinx. Jinx's whole thing of like, oh, I can only fight when I'm blind. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I can only fight when I'm blindfolded? To say I can fight when I'm blindfolded, I'm like, okay, that would be fine. And honestly, a stretch. But to say I fight better when you take away one of my senses?
Pathetic. Don't bother to unpack. You ain't staying here long.
Care to try it again? My way?
That's how she trained,
what?
Man. No, it's really dumb. I loved her breaking that like American Gladiator pole in half, and then
big Q-tip,
using her own technique and all that stuff. But yes, it's dumb. The enemy can blind you. By the way, when Roadblock gets blinded and it like the color drains and then the focus goes. Great effect, really sold it for me, and then his eyes change. But yeah, the enemy has stuff that can blind people. Why not just have Pythona blind her in the last fight, and then she's like, oh, this is how I trained. Like, little did you know,
it would have been better.
It's about to get worse.
Honestly,
but that's only as dumb as Sergeant Slaughter saying no weapons. That's like idiot.
No, he didn't say no weapons. He said
we're not going to bring our
Falcon
weapons.
said, why don't we go in with no weapon? And he said it sarcastically, but he likes the challenge, and he's all right, we'll do that. And then everyone's like, fuck.
Then why don't we leave our weapons behind and make it really educational?
Now that's what I call a challenge. No weapons. Let's move out.
Yeah, Sergeant Slaughter says we're going to go in without our weapons.
Yeah, but it wasn't his idea. He rolled with it.
I'm not saying that it was his idea. I'm saying he, as the commander, said, leave your weapons at home. That's idiotic.
These are his weapons.
Yes, you can make excuses if you like the character.
And once they went in, they did steal weapons.
Yes, but that's an idiotic thing to do.
Let's talk about dumb things. Let's talk about real dumb things.
Yes.
If we're going to talk about dumb things here, how about the fact that like they know where Cobra's base is the whole time, 4 people can take down the whole base.
Time to go bye-bye or boom boom.
The base and where they keep their BET, the weapon, is within driving distance on like a tank of gas because the renegades meet up with them from the Cobra base. So the triangle.
Sergeant Slaughter? Who?
Sergeant Slaughter and his renegade dudes.
I don't know the name of the.
So like their whole triangle of where things are is so tight, so close, and so ridiculous. If you know where the Terradrome is, why don't you just drop a fucking bomb on it and just finish them right there? I always wondered how they recruit people for these things.
Why doesn't Batman just kill the Joker?
He doesn't know where he is.
He's had the chance to kill him many, many times.
He doesn't kill, actually. That's Batman's thing.
I know. That's good people are good.
They literally murdered how many thousands of them because that's a full base.
They had to, yeah.
That's like essentially the Death Star on Earth. And there's like, sorry, bitch, one little bomb blows the fuck out of the whole thing.
A well-placed bomb. Because he was a slaughter.
Also, we said we were going to talk about the opening scene next, and we didn't do that. That opening scene is goddamn epic.
That's still next. We just didn't get to it till now.
So goddamn epic. And it was, it's like, you're like, oh man, how much money is in this opening scene? And usually it's not like that. Like you don't get banger upon banger as a beginning of an animated movie. So like, there's the whole beginning where you're at the Statue of Liberty,
right?
Wherever there's trouble over land and sea and air.
And it's like the best song that like ever was for like announcing and talking about Cobra and G.I. Joe back and forth. It's genius.
Dashing through the sky comes a fearful cry. Cobra.
I'm not going to attack you for liking the song so much.
It's so good.
I think the song is fine. I didn't like it though. I do like that there's a call and like response where you have one people saying we're Cobra, we're bad, and then there's like a no we're not, we're G.I. Joe, it's good, and they kind of sing to each other back and forth.
Well, they're not singing it.
No, for the song.
I had to make sure.
The purpose of the song.
to make sure you didn't like it because you thought they might have been singing while fighting.
No,
I just have to know.
What the fuck? It's a song that's just playing over the fighting.
It is like the anthem of the fight.
Yes, but there's a call response where there's like from different points of view and all that stuff. I also like this showcase because I didn't watch G.I. Joe. I from the toys and the commercials, I understood the concept, but it was still cool to kind of watch this like hey, by the way, this is what we usually do.
G.I. Joe is the code name for America's daring, highly trained special mission force. Its purpose, to defend human freedom against Cobra.
And now the movie's gonna be very different, right? So I think as a framing or like setup device premise thing, it's a really good thing to do right off the bat.
I don't know how wildly things change, but I read that was supposed to be the ending of the movie, and they switched it to the beginning.
So they might have put all that time into it because it was supposed to be the climax.
And that's probably it.
Yeah,
but you're
that's
wondering like if the script was at all the same, how that could ever have been the ending is ludicrous.
They were going to use the Statue of Liberty to spread the energy for the sport, to come out of the torch.
Well, but even just to think about it, like Cobra Commander. Is alive and he's in there, not a snake. So it's like it's a very strange thing that they could have put that much time and effort into it.
I don't know how much effort was put into it.
Oh man, that's one of the most epic fight scenes of all time.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff flying around, but it's it didn't seem to be
I love the sound of
terribly
their
high. Yes. So like, okay, now we're rounding 4th or 5th, base. This was made by the same people who did Transformers at around the same time. Yeah. And several times in this movie, I'm like, that's the same sound effect. You're just playing the same noise when like Starscream shoots. That's like the exact, and like those like noises. I'm like, that's the same sound as when Unicron transforms and the thing is closed. I'm like, what's happening here? This is crazy. Yes.
The then secondary opening here, like the actual opening of the movie, where you have Pythona like breaking in to like the Cobra headquarters here.
This changed my life.
So great with her like organic weaponry.
I love it so much.
Oh man, like. And it's like terrifying as a child, but great, and like just how her shit does it fills me with just so many questions.
So like the like face huggers are awesome. When there's the fight where she takes out like 5 dudes, but each in like a different way.
Yeah.
I think that's so cool. It's so well done. And she like wraps one of the guys up like a mummy with a clam.
Yeah.
It seems like, oh, it's so cool. And yes, just her being able to like body everything and just go like a beeline, nothing slows her down. It's awesome.
And she's super strong too.
It changed my life, I want to say. The idea of this like organic technology and everything, it got so many juices flowing and made me think about so much in such a different way and set me up for things later, like Babylon 5 or whatever. Like all these different things would touch upon similar concepts.
The Lex ship, like things like that.
Or Farscape does it, I think, too. Like but different levels too. But I was always like, I know what that means. I get it. Like it's perfect, right? From everything. The most important part about this being so early, though, is that because like the part that I loved turns out to have been in like the last 10 minutes, but they also pepper it in throughout. You're always getting, every couple of whatever minutes, you're getting a bit of the Cobra Law, organic tech, amazing stuff. That was my thing, where I'm like, leave the Joes, cut back to the Cobra field. This is awesome. I want more cool things to happen. Yeah, so that's like what kept me so interested as a kid and like keeps me going through the movie.
Blimey! It's a bloomin' sea monster!
I think like what really had me about like G.I. Joes in general is that they're like, an elite military unit that is like special, like the best of the best. They're pulled in from different things for the different expertises and stuff, and they are that, and there's not a uniform amongst them. So like you have like Snake Eyes is like, that's just a dude dressed like a ninja.
We got a ninja now.
What's the other guy's name? Like Fleetfoot or Quick Kick or something like that. I can't remember his name, but he's like dressed up like he's from Street Fighter. He's not even wearing shoes. They're in like the Arctic. They're in like the Himalayas. He is a barefoot, no-shirted ninja guy.
I was gonna say like like the Bruce Lee guy or the guy that fights Jackie Chan in that one movie with the big barrel over his head. No, like
that's Donkey Kong.
Oh, sorry. Again, that was Steven Seagal, I think, actually. Anyway, yes. Now they all have that distinctive look. It's literally the whole thing of like, this guy's a guy with a dog guy, and this guy's a demolition-y guy, and this guy, whatever. They'll have a very specific.
That one has a falcon.
Yeah, this guy. Yeah, there's like a random bird that flies through that. They never. They don't have time to explain in the movie who on Cobra has like a pet bird that fights with them or whatever, right?
That's a Joe.
Oh, it's a Joe?
Which is even more funny because
the big black bird?
The bird must have been tied up in vines, and then when it fell, he got out, and he's like,
because it's in that fight. Yeah, it's fighting there is what I'm thinking of. No, yeah, that's crazy. It's fun though. It's cool, I guess, right? Where you have all people where it's like, he's a sumo wrestler. Oh, he's an astronaut, just wearing the astronaut uniform. It's just anybody can be a part of this.
Yeah, like, and I love that. Like that one's always dressed up like he's in the Arctic, no matter where he is.
Yes.
Like so.
Snow job. Need a lift? Maybe walking's better for my health.
Well, when you see a guy in a basketball uniform, you're like, of course, why not?
He did the crime. You ought to do the time.
Yeah, now you might get penalized for his screw-ups.
Like, that guy just wears a football shirt and, like, has a big gun. That one, just like a sailor, like... They're just dudes who are good at what they do.
I was gonna ask
hombres.
So like when we talked about Transformers, I'm like, I don't know any of these people's names. That's ridiculous. But then I did know like a bunch of names just from watching and stuff. Did you know like, oh, that's Roadblock, oh, that's Shipwreck, oh, that
the ones that are the popular ones I know. Well, but there are so many.
They say all the names.
Like, that's Dial Tone, and like there's different. And you're like, who the fuck is that?
It has that same cringy dialogue thing though, where someone's like, well, Dial Tone, what do you think? I don't know, Mainframe, what do you want? And they have a weird, like, everyone says their exact name for everything.
One more time!
They can't hear you, Mainframe.
Well, Dial Tone, they're gonna hear about the broadcast energy transmitter all over the world.
I think it's very funny to me, yeah.
But I love it.
Yes, it's corny,
it's so
fun,
good.
Yeah.
And I just like, there's nothing like this though. This is so great. And but like, a lot of it doesn't make sense. And I think there's a reason why it was only like in this
How
thing.
dare you?
Well, like, let's just think about their timeline here. So you have Cobra Law and all its residents. They're like, we've been around forever.
Oh, yeah.
And they've essentially had the same technology the whole time.
40,000 years ago, the glory of Cobra Law dominated this planet.
And you're like, okay. And then, like, the Ice Age happened, and these mammals came up.
But an age of ice destroyed much of what we had built. We retreated to preserve our ways and await an opportunity to reclaim the Earth.
It's like, why didn't you exterminate them when they were nothing? Why did you flee into the mountains when you were still all powerful?
I know a thing for this.
Let's hear a thing.
In the comic Transformers vs. G.I. Joe, the origin of everything is that Unicron came to Earth tens of thousands of years ago to consume it, and the then prolific Cobra-Lions repelled him. They had spores that could like destroy him. So they made this like pact or some weird convoluted thing that then indirectly leads to like the rise of man and some other shit happens. It's this whole dumb thing.
That's interesting.
But they can't put that in the movie because that's crazy. But this is Marvel and Bandai and somebody else. So it was influenced by all these people pulling from all these things to try to explain stuff. No, the timeline, because he says 40,000 years, and then you're like, wait, what is then ho, and then but I love the caveman clacking rocks together and then like hitting the button for like the space launch and all those things. That really got me, because that's more of that thing of like our technology is different. We have guns that shoot goo that like grow tentacle vine stuff. And you are using lifeless inorganic matter to do this.
I love their
good.
disgust at us using like metal and bullshit.
It's an abomination and all that stuff. And it's Burgess Meredith delivering all these lines.
Their culture was a travesty of our own noble ways and a threat to our very existence.
Which is hilarious too. It's so good.
Yeah. There was supposed to be some tie-in where there was going to be like a Rocky action figure.
Rocky is on the team. Sergeant Slaughter's like,
I don't think he was going to be in the movie. But it was going to be an action figure where it was going to be like a Rocky Balboa-looking guy with boxing gloves. And it was going to be like trainer of the Joes or something. But the deal fell through and it became a Cobra Law guy, and they changed the head.
Okay.
Or Cobra.
Yes. I never had any of these toys. I never cared about this. It was such like a special experience as a movie. And I think after this too, I might have been like, it turns out G.I. Joe is awesome. It's about aliens and like it's about ancient aliens and like goo weapons and like grasshopper bridges. And then it becomes like, oh no, it's still about shooting in America. Yeah.
One of my favorite scenes, like I think about it, is just them turning on a Cobra Commander.
Oh, yes.
A complete buffoon.
You also left out that he's an idiot. He can't dress himself.
Militarily speaking, it's only fair to say that Cobra Commander is a world-class buffoon.
What?
Okay. More comparisons to Transformers. Because I think it's the same voice actor as Starscream and Cobra Commander, or am I making that up?
It might be. I don't know.
Sounds like it is though, right? Because as a kid, I thought it was.
No. It definitely is.
It is, right?
It definitely is.
Only one man sounds like that. Yeah. But Serpentor and Cobra Commander have the same dynamic as Starscream and Megatron do.
Yeah.
Where he's like, I want your power though, and he's like, you're an idiot. They all agree. Yeah, he's an idiot. And they're like, no, he can't do it. And they both quote unquote die in this movie. Mm-hmm. And the like Megatron Serpentor figure is both left ambiguously like, oh, he could be out there for later series, I guess, or like later movies, right? It's like the same movie. It's amazing to me.
Serpentor kind of like a joke though. Like you think about it, and like while they're in a series of casted people that all have just random looks. The bad guys are definitely cool looking. I like that. It's like, oh, that guy's from Kiss, and she's like a punk rock girl. That guy's made of metal. Like, you have a lot of cool stuff going on, and he just doesn't seem like he fits in. I understand your theme is
He looks like
snakes.
He's from He-Man.
Yes, he looks exactly like he's from Masters of the Universe.
Okay, so like I don't like Serpentor, but of all the people, like, oh, Destro might be cool. Oh, it's cool that like Cobra Commander has like 8 eyes under his mask or some weird shit like that. That's what what was cool to me as a kid. So like Serpentor's by default at the top of that pyramid. He pulls snakes out.
How does that work?
And they become spears.
Yeah.
It's some magical Cobra Law technology, which I love.
We never discussed that, and I've always been wondering.
Like Globulus has a weird like catfish head that he flies around in, but Serpentor instinctively remakes it using mankind's because he has that weird hover sled thing that he does. But yeah, like it has to be crazy magic because when he misses, the snake slithers away like a real snake. And there's a snake on the ground, and he picks it up and goes, "Hroing."
Die, arrogant earth scum!
And like becomes a spear again. It's this amazing. So like as a kid, I'm like, oh, that guy's cool. There's something going on there. That's awesome.
I do love when our now snake version of Cobra Commander saves Roadblock by attacking the snake that was on the ground. I'm like, genius. All right.
It comes back. So like that too, talking about it with other people at the time and just my whole life, everyone has the same reaction. Was a man. That whole like thing where he's like de-evolving and his hands get all like it's like
definitely creepy.
Awesome.
I was a man. Yes. Oh, yes. I was a man.
Freaking awesome.
And like when they first show what the spores will do, like you don't realize they're only showing you like step 1.
Reduce the entire human race to the level of mindless beasts.
That people will then keep devolving and shit like, oh yeah, because if the world became just savage, monstrous cavemen, I'm like, that might be a problem for you too. But if they're just snakes, not so much. You can just pick them up and turn them with spears.
I took it like they'll make them savage cavemen who cannot use their technology that's giving them a fighting chance.
Well, and
then
probably
we'll be
kill
able to
each
do
other
it.
too.
The population will certainly dwindle once the guy who used to work at the nuclear power plant can't show up anymore. He's a caveman, right? Obviously things will happen. But
there's definitely going to be a downside, and it's weird to say, like you almost expect a lot of the Cobra people to rebel against Cobra law because at a certain point, if only people underneath the dome are safe, that means there's not a lot left for you. There's like 3 ladies in there and humans are done.
And they like being at the top of this food chain and like exploiting stuff and doing jobs and stuff.
But they're totally on board. They're like, we'll kill everybody. I'm like, wait, you probably have family you're robbing to get money for. They're all dead now. That's a little weird. The fact that the BET is firing its energy through the dome is a little weird. But then when it's turned up a little bit, it melts, and I'm like,
breaks the thing.
I'm like, well, all right.
He cranked it to 11.
He did crank it to 11.
He cranked it all the way up.
I did like that, and it fries all the atmosphere, and you're like, okay, cool.
No, and
it solves the problem. I'm not saying it doesn't.
I like it a lot. It's a good thing because, like, I mean, as a kid, I'm not even sure how young you have to be fooled by that. Like, I guess the whole world's just gonna be fun. It's like they're gonna do something, but what are they gonna do? And then Falcon, true to his like character, is like, oh, what if we just cranked it completely?
If I can rev up enough juice, you can fry those spores in space.
Well, might as well try it and see if it works.
Honestly, what do you have to lose at that point? Because everyone's dead.
But everyone else is like protocol and like do this and like check with your commanding officer. And he's the loose cannon-y guy who's like, I do what I want. And he did what he wanted, and it worked. It's good.
We all go home or no one goes home is something I was like,
absolutely.
We all go home or no one goes home.
That I like a lot because that's not particularly jingoistic. That's just like a generic cool thing.
Forget me! Save yourselves! Falcon, we all go home or nobody goes home!
Yeah.
And then they do the dumb spinning thing, but it's still
pulls his
good.
belt off
Yes.
and I'm like, that chasm is gigantic, and you only got like maybe 7 feet of human swinging. And the idea that he had to jump, grab an ankle perfectly, and then he had to support that weight and swing him off. I was like, yeah, he's such
and the centrifugal forces and stuff. Yes, exactly.
Love it.
We got some cool feats of strength, though. When the Sergeant Slaughter and the boys infiltrate, they form like the human ladder to go down and get the guy. Because at first I'm like, what's happening? Oh yeah, it's this crazy thing.
Yeah.
And the converse of that, this might have been the first time that I saw like a terrifying parachute drop.
Yes.
Where I'm like, oh, your parachute's
die
fine.
from wind.
But yeah, well, because it's still strapped to you.
Yep.
He pulls out his knife and is trying to like handle it and all that, and he's like, being dragged by the wind. I'm like, yeah, that's awesome.
For sure.
You don't usually see. Usually parachutes are just like, oh, it's like taking like an escalator. You just go down, it's fine.
Yeah.
But this paints a very different picture that I really like.
Parachutes suck.
Yeah.
I would never jump out of a plane again.
You've done this.
I hate
it. I never would. I'd unless I was in a plane that was crashing.
Yeah, again, there's a lot of things I would do if you have no opportunity, no alternative, I should say.
Right.
But for fun, nope.
It is not your preference to jump out of a plane. Yes.
Put it on, smart guy.
What for? We're over the middle of nowhere.
Whoa. Which is right where you belong.
As far as like little stupid things that just I like go, I love when like they like drop that crate and like the crab bugs come out to make the red carpet from the walk across. Like it's just those little touches where I'm like, that's fucking genius.
There's like dozens of things like that were etched into my brain, and it was so fun to rewatch this and experience them all again. Yeah, great.
Do you have a favorite part of the movie or favorite line?
How dare you put me on the spot like this? I wanted to mention too, like there's an awesome part where Falcon is like narrating, like, oh, if they got past this, then they'd have to do, like that's a relatively advanced, like for a thing for children.
Sure.
That's a relatively advanced cinematic technique.
They'd still have to blast through a couple of yards of super hard concrete. Uh-huh. Then they'd have to get past 3 of our best guys.
Is he's just telling like a third person what it would take to get through.
Yeah.
Played over footage of people, getting through all those hurdles. Right. I was like, this is awesome. And that segues into like, men got injured today. You're being court-martialed
because you deserted your post. An enemy force was able to penetrate security, free Serpentor, and injure 3 good men.
And now it's Starship Troopers, where he's being court-martialed and they're chewing him out. We searched your record for one redeeming thing and we found nothing. You're out of here. And he's like, come on. It's great.
It almost feels like it's for adults because I don't know that it was directly for children. There was some comment where there was a scene right after the girl is infiltrated in there. She took pictures, has her earrings and stuff. That she was in a bathing suit. Originally, they were gonna have her be naked.
Right.
And I'm like, if she was naked, that would change the whole dynamic of this. Even if you don't necessarily see it, even if it's just like like a butt in the moonlight kind of shot.
She's taking a butt in the movie walk.
Where are you going?
Nowhere. I'm just taking one of those unmotivated butt in the moonbeam walks.
But no, it was a different time, I think, and they didn't optimize that stuff as much. I know they cared about what rating they ended up with a lot, but they weren't really like marketing this like this needs to be 3 to 8 boys. That's it. And like things could, you could just put weird adult things in there, like them arguing, you're my half brother, and I said, I promised I'd protect you. Well, if you're protecting me, why are you chewing me out?
Duke's trying to help.
How? By busting my chops every chance he gets?
I promised our mother I'd keep an eye on him. Maybe I shouldn't have taken the job.
And all these like high level things where
like
you're like,
him
whoa.
pulling rank and saying like I outrank you, I don't have to take this. I'm out of here. And you're like, what? And like that's a high level concept to be like,
you're dangerously close to insubordination, mister.
And you're over the line on military protocol. I'm an officer and I'm pulling rank. Hold it right there!
Okay, he is actually a higher rank than Duke,
right,
but Duke,
he's a Green Beret or something.
But Duke controls that group.
Yeah.
Okay, so he is the boss of the group, but not higher than him militaristically. That's interesting and something you couldn't necessarily wrap your head around as a child. You're like, wait a minute, but Duke's the boss.
That's what makes these things like special. When he's like, when this time worm completes its rotation, and I'm like, they have time worms instead of hourglasses. Like little things like that alone would have like kept me going for so long as a kid, imagining worlds upon worlds.
When this time worm completes its journey, the pods will ripen, their spores will burst forth, and this pitiful planet will be ours.
When Nemesis Enforcer like lifts up that like it's like a tracked snowmobile thing and like cuts the bottom and pulls the guy out, that guy's face animated is amazing. I'm like, oh my god! Like there's so many little things.
There's a similar moment when one of the bug men, like one of the guys, like, oh, I'm gonna CQC this guy, and then he ends up getting him and grabbing him and holding him by his feet, smashes him into the side of the wall, and you're like, oh no, because they have weird axes and they're doing something like, I don't know what these guys are all about, but then like, oh no, they're terrifying. You can't fight these guys.
This like noises and like it's like a big like a moose antler weapon. Like it's something crazy.
It's like a Monster Hunter weapon. It's like a crazy big big weird thing.
My favorite scene, which I think is my most quoted moment from this movie, is when they are finally breaking into Cobra Law and they're going into the water part, and he pops up. He's like, hello, 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 adios, 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 and he knocks the guy out. I love that.
Yes.
I love it so much. Like more than anyone should love a scene. I love that scene.
Hello, 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 adios, adios, adios.
Absolutely. Good, like, campy, like it knows what it is and it's having some fun and all that
Exactly.
stuff. I like the sci-fi stuff, so like when you realize Nemesis Enforcer's wings are like laser proof.
Yeah.
And like because
everything proof.
well, because he uses them to like shield himself, while he's running, and you're like, okay. Then he gets to Serpentor's like force field laser grid, and he goes and just holds his wing out so that Serpentor can get out. And I'm like, oh my God, that's amazing.
It raises so many questions where like they are a race, you know, like there's like a light blue people. That is what they are.
Yeah.
But like almost all of them are wearing their helmets or this and that. Like, you don't see a lot of people. You really only see them open when it's like Cobra Commander who's like just about to like get his face.
Yeah, where it's like
a brilliant young nobleman came to my attention.
like a young science man made a mistake one day. Yeah.
But like Pythona, she looks to be a different race than them, and she has like different like growing things.
I think that they're like bioengineered.
That's what I was gonna say. It appears that there's something there, and you wonder why there's not more. Like Nemesis Enforcer is like barely reptilian. He's like a Batman.
Yeah.
Like he looks the most human of any of them.
There's a lot of parts too where it's like, oh well, it's Cobra Law, so everything's a snake or a reptile. But then there's like crabs and like clams and like sea life and tentacles.
A praying mantis bridge and
there's like those tentacles, but they call them vines even.
Man, who ever heard of being shot down by a salad?
It has a weird. It's just this like generically organic, and that always gets me so much. There were like space shooter games where like, oh, like this alien species lives in the water, so all their spaceship looks like fish or something. Like it has that weird vibe where it's like, but it's not just like it's a snake though. It's like beyond that. It's like insects, like you're saying, all these different things.
It's prehistoric, like across the board. Is what I get that vibe of, like the insects being large, and everything being large and weird.
I think it's like those creatures in real life evolved to be like the most efficient shape for whatever they're doing, and now they, their ability to like control all that harnesses and like changes that so that they can pick. So it's like, tentacles work the best. Yeah, it's a little clam full of mummy juice or like
it's a beetle that opens the lock.
Oh god, the beetle key. Yeah, it's crazy. All that stuff's crazy. It's wonderful.
The only thing that like organically I was like, what would that one be evolved from? Is like she like throws these like little like caterpillar like things and they explode when they're landed on, and I'm like, what did that evolve to do that? Like something touches me, I explode.
It's a self-defense mechanism.
It's such an over-exaggeration of a self-defense mechanism, but I do love it. But I'd like to know, I would love there to be like a companion book where it's like, this is from that, and these are that, and this is whatever.
Well, and like they fly around in like a big, weird-looking dumb bug. But there's one quick shot of like the guy has like tendons connected to his finger, and he like pulls them to like make the bug do something.
He's inside the eyeball, like
or the mouth or something.
I think it's the eye.
Eyeball? Okay.
Like their ship is so organic that it doesn't make any sense. Or like Cobra Commander being in a fucking like a clam, he's all tied up. I'm like, this is everything about this is so next level.
What I wanted, to your point, was like one thing quickly showing, because we get the flashback, but I wanted to show off that like they are making these things.
Yeah.
They have a technology that's able to grow something
grow the thing you need
that will hopefully be the thing or something. Right? Or like in like a sequel there could be a plot of like Nemesis Enforcer was destroyed, now we're making like an army of Nemesis Enforcers and they're like maturing in their pupa thing.
There should have been like the idea there's only one. Like I needed an explanation that says like we use the last of the blah blah to make this, like there had like, because why would you ever stop at one? He's so powerful.
We use the last of those Black Panther flowers to make this guy.
Nah, the movie's so good, and any movie that makes you think and question it and like posit this world and all these things, it's perfect for a kid. Like that's exactly what you want a child to have. To ask questions and to make things and their imagination run wild. Ah man, it hit me right at that perfect time too.
Absolutely. No, this was pretty life-changing. This is up there with one of the main like things or whatever. Transformers, whatever. There's a bunch of movies like this during the 80s where they were like, let's make something that will terrify you. Let's make something crazy with high-level ideas and everything.
Yeah. The only thing that could have made it better is if Sergeant Slaughter would have blown his whistle in combat. He had it with him the whole time.
Jump, Yardbird!
I would have loved like the big bug or something. He's like,
I don't think so. That's the thing. Yeah.
He killed more bugs with a gun than shooting them. He's fantastic.
Yeah, and the guns, like, do they run out of ammo? I don't know the lore of G.I. Joe to know, like, why are they using laser guns? Like, what's going on?
I think there was a thing in like TV reasoning where like lasers are fake and not real, but guns were like you can't use guns on ball, but you can use lasers.
No, like that explains why it's happening, but like in the show, why is it happening? Do like normal cops have laser pistols, or do they have actual guns? I don't know what's going on.
I think they have actual guns that you would never see fired.
Yeah, right?
I think so.
Interesting.
I think that's everything.
Oh, yeah.
All right, guys, thanks for watching. Let us know in the comments below what you thought about it. Don't die in a fire, and we'll see you next time.
If you want to support the show, head over to cannibalvideo.com, pick up some merch.
And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button.
That's all right.
Yeah, that's something.
Whatever.
Fuck these motherfuckers.
And knowing is half the battle.
G.I. Joe!
Cannibal Video has everything you need. A wide array of VHS and DVDs. We ate the competition, now it's only us. Our expert staff opinions you can really trust.